Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Maruli, and if you're into digital fashion, 3D tutorials and designing super cool looks from scratch, you're in the right place. Today we'll be creating the Adidas Gucci sneakers in CLO3D, so follow along and let's do some magic. So first I'm going to import the Sulast avatar from Closer Connect. I'm going to delete the right sole. We're just gonna work on one side and then mirror everything on the other side. I'm gonna go ahead and flatten this part of the shoe, and then I'm going to Control D symmetric pattern with sewing on the other side, basically copy it. I'm gonna sew everything together. And then I'm going to hit simulate. To avoid this sort of collision, I want to select everything, lower the particle distance, but also to fix this kind of rounded edges over here, I want to select these sewing lines and change the fold angle to 90. And as you can see now, it's standing straight up. And I also want to make sure that for my fabric, I'm using a trim full grain leather property so that everything is stiff. Before we continue, I want to just make this sole a bit bigger. And then I'm gonna go ahead and cut it just around here over the ankle, because we're making a sneaker and not a boot. I can delete these pieces and I can save this. First, what I want to do is create that sole, but as you can see, the sole is coming up just about here. I'm thinking creating that shape around here on the actual shoe and not down here on the sole we already have. And also the sole down here is sort of curved, which we're gonna later do using these side pieces. So I'm gonna create that shape over here. I'm gonna use an internal line. Adjust everything to make it look right. This over here needs to be a bit higher. Make sure, of course, that everything aligns nicely. There we go. And now I want to see how long this line is. It's 350. And for the height, I'm gonna go with 3 centimeters. And I'm gonna sew this onto here and also mirror it on the other side. Sew the front and back and simulate. As you can see, we're having some trouble here with the floor. I can disable it by going here to the environment and simulation properties and turning off collision for the ground. Then we can simulate again. And now we want to create that shape we were talking about before. Again, I'm gonna use some additional points here. This should be higher. I want it to curve up just a bit more, so I'm gonna also move this piece, this point over here. Okay, that's better. And I want a bit of a curve here as well. Just a bit. That looks about right. And then I also want to duplicate this and sew it onto the bottom of the side sew pieces. And I'm gonna unfreeze it. As you can see, it's rounded over here. I can select these sewing lines and go with 90 for the fold angle. And it's nice and cornered right now over here. I'm gonna go ahead and save. And this is the basic shape of our sneaker. Next, I want to create up here the shape of the main body of the shoe. And I'm going to again use an internal line for that. And then this actually proceeds to the lace. I can do that now. Moving everything around to make sure it looks right. And then I'm gonna create some additional lines in here. I'm gonna offset it without extending. I think this is fine. I can bring it up here. And then also create the shape in here for the tongue. And for the next part, I'm gonna create these front pieces over here. I'm talking about these ones, just again using some internal lines. Adjusting everything to make it look right. It's sort of a weird shape, so take your time with it. And then also create that extra trim around here which carries the logo. And for the last part, I'm gonna just create 3 lines over here for the side stripes, sort of in the middle of the pieces that we see. Kind of like, oh, this needs to be back. and then one line goes over here. Sort of like that. I'm gonna extend it to internal lines and also distribute a line between these two. And also cut it to the internal lines. There is our basic shape. Of course, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it over here. I'm gonna create an additional point on this line. I'm gonna move this around a bit, divide this, and then merge it with this one. I can extend this again and cut over here. With Shift Q, I can hide these pieces. And I wanna correct this shape over here. I want it to be straight across. A bit more. There we go. I'm gonna freeze the soles. What I want to do is basically layer this piece over that part. I'm actually going to layer this all and remove the linked editing and just cut it. Delete what I don't need. And then I want to create an additional line just in the middle of this. Ooh, that doesn't work. I'm gonna do it manually. Just over here in the middle, where the holes for the lace is gonna be. And then create those holes, 7 on each side, starting from here. I think 5 is fine for these holes. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna move everything around. There we go. Make sure they're aligned with this middle line. And then from the middle of its circle, I want to bring out those lace. So kind of like that, going across and then upwards. And again. I'm gonna speed up this process a bit. And then I want to select all of these lines. And offset them as internal lines on both sides by 2.5. Yes, to match that 5mm diameter we have here on the holes. And then I can select these and delete them. All right. And then I want to layer this over 2 times. Yes, and basically select this, cut it. Oops. Extend it to the outline and then cut it. And then again I want to sew this over here. And then select all of these. And cut them. Delete what I don't need. I can also delete all of these internal lines. And I'm gonna do the opposite thing over here. I'm gonna select the rest. Actually, cut this first. Sew it on there. And then select everything. And cut. Delete what I don't need. And also these internal lines. And as you can see, we have these pieces as well as the ones going downwards. And what I'm gonna do is duplicate this piece over to the other side, mirror it actually. I'm gonna select all of these, move them upwards, and deactivate them for now. Oops. Ooh, something is going really wrong. And then I want to find which one connects to which one over here and merge these. Merge. Merge. And this right here in the middle. There we go. And for the final part, I want to cut this because I don't need this part. Great. And make it... If I don't like these shapes, I can just delete this middle part and it's gonna make no difference other than looking better. And for the last part, for this, I want to select all of these inner parts right here. And also up here. And move them inward. Not all of them are gonna react great to this, but as you can see, now we have super realistic looking lace for our shoe. And I'm actually gonna use this fabric once again here. There we go. But I know what you're gonna say, like, where do they go through? Like, this isn't empty, you know? So what we're gonna do next is select all of these little circles and cut and sew them. And then I can just select these again, Shift Q to hide them, and do the same on the other side. And now there are holes where the lace are supposed to be going through. And now to create the rest of the details on here, I'm going to layer clone this over, cut the parts I don't need, this one I do need, and also cut this here, delete this part, and then I'm going to sew everything in place. And back here. Oh, it's frozen. I need to unfreeze it. There we go. And of course, mirror them on the other side. I'm gonna sew these two together, and here I'm gonna merge them. And to make sure we don't have a visible line here, I'm gonna select this, delete all of this, and also bring this up. There we go. If I don't want to see these internal lines, to see how everything looks, I can just disable them up here. And one of the last details up here on the body is these lines here. As you may have noticed, they have sort of little teeth, like a zigzag line over here. I'm gonna show you how to create that easily. I'm gonna select these lines and offset them on both sides by, I think, 3 or 4. 4 is fine. I don't need these middle ones. I do want to select them and offset, extend trim to internal line. And then I'm going to select these lines once again and offset them just once. Oh, it doesn't work this way. Just the top ones, offset by 3. And again on the other side, we're gonna have to click on reverse direction. And again extend trim to internal line. Now I want to layer clone this over and cut what I don't need as we did before, and once more over here. Now what this is going to do is keep it sewn here on the inside and not on the outer part, which is exactly what I want, since as you can see here, it seems like the sewing line is in here and not on the outer part. So that's what I'm achieving right now with this method. I'm going to unfreeze it and simulate. There we go. And of course I'm going, before I mirror them to the other side, I want to create that zigzag we were talking about. And this is sort of time-consuming thing, but basically I'm going to create this little teeth by hand, and I can even... I lost it. Let's go again. Here I can even click Ctrl C, Ctrl V and paste it. Merge it over here and again. And do the same thing over and over again until we reach the bottom. I can actually select everything and just do join overlapping points once. And I can duplicate it here on the other side. And of course duplicate it here on the other pieces as well. Actually this took not as long as I imagined. And then I can select all of these and cut. And there we have it. And I'm going to just mirror it on the other side. And the last part is actually down here on the sole. This little part. As you can see, it kind of curves up here. And it goes up here with the shape of the actual sole. So I need to firstly correct this part because it goes down and that's not good. Freeze everything. Except these. Oh, the bottom sole needs to be a bit bigger. A bit more. Oh, that's much better. We want to create kind of an edge over here. I'm going to offset this as internal line by 4. And bring this up a bit to create that curve we talked about. Like this. And I'm gonna cut it, and then I'm gonna add some thickness to it. I think 2 is too much. There we go. And again, I don't need any sort of sewing lines in here. I'm gonna go ahead and remove those normals. And also over here, again, I'm going to remove the normal maps. Great, and then also delete these lines, which I don't need. Where am I? Over here. There we go. And also add some additional thickness collision over here and on these ones. And maybe just a bit on our lace as well. This needs to be a lot thicker, our sole. Go with 2, maybe even 3. Yes, and then this needs to be much thicker again. Oh, there we go. And for the final part, we want to texture everything, create a material here for the sole, another for the body, a different one for the lace. Here on the back, I believe it's a different color, as well as the tongue, and for these stripes on the side. So I'm gonna start with renaming what I already have. This is gonna be called body, this is gonna be called lace. I'm gonna copy this and call it sole, as well as maybe trim back, and also stripes. So selecting all of these are my stripes, these are my lace. I believe they already have that material. This is my sole, this is the trim back, and if I select everything, I can see it's all nicely done. I'm gonna create one more just to be sure. I'm gonna call it invisible and select all of these pieces which I don't want to sew, and I'm gonna use it for them. Great. And then for the body, I created a similar texture, a similar print, although I did use a butterfly in the middle to avoid, you know, copyright issues. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it in here. There we go. I want to make sure everything aligns nicely. This one needs to be like that. And I want to make sure that it aligns over here, so it's even harder to tell that it's not one singular piece. There we go. Also over here. There it is. Oh, I need a different fabric for the tongue. Oh, I need to cut it actually over here. Cut and sew. And use it over here. It's gonna be a red sort of plastic one. I can use the plastic material property here. And also for the back, it's gonna be a green one. Also a plastic property is fine. For the lace, I wanna have them in like an off-white. And for the sole, we want an oranges hue. Sort of like this, but a bit see-through. And what I can also do to make everything look a bit more realistic is select the inner part of my shoe, add some thickness, but here just go backward so it doesn't interfere with the rest of my pieces. I can go a bit more. Actually, here is fine with 2. And one more thing would be to add some top stitches to make everything look more realistic. So here I'm gonna start by this. And then over here. And of course we need some on these lines. But as you can see, it doesn't look great. One of these is gonna be this color. I wanna make it a bit thicker as well as, as well as a bit longer. There we go. And also have a smaller offset from the edge. There we go. And I'm gonna duplicate it, have it be white. Assign it over here to these fellas. And I want it to actually have 0 offset, so it's just on the edge over there. An additional step would be to create a lining for all of this on the inside, but if you don't want to, you can just select this fabric over here, go to back, and deselect use same material as front, so you can basically make it be white on the inside and it doesn't look so uniform. And then I want to create some new rectangles to create that bow around here. And fold it on the other side. Duplicate this a couple more times. So this here and this over here. I'm just gonna pin it. This one to this one. Let me bring this over here. And simulate. I'm gonna copy this, call it bow, and use I think a denim one might be nice for this. So it's a bit softer, also it needs to be of lower particle distance. And then what we also need is a little wraparound over here in the middle, like this. Sew it on both sides. Distribute some lines in there so I can fold it. I can use this fold tool here in 3D. I can click and adjust whichever side I want to and simulate. No, of course it needs to be of much lower particle distance. It's flying all about, so I'm gonna pin it. Okay, it's rather small. I'm gonna make it a bit bigger. And then I'm gonna use the select mesh tool to move some parts of it around. Oh, there we go. Kind of. Great. And then I can lower this and also this to make it appear tighter around there. There we go. And I think we can even go with something softer. Something like this. And I'm gonna increase the weight of it so it falls down more. And I'm gonna select I think it's this one. Yes, this one. I'm gonna make it a bit longer, as well as on this side. There it is. And for the last part, I'm going to move everything here on the side, remove all of the linked editing that I might have, and then Ctrl C, Ctrl D on the other side. And there are our shoes. That's a wrap for today's tutorial. If you like this process and want to see more, don't forget to hit that like button, comment and subscribe. Keep creating and making magic. Bye!